Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday Morning Talk, and that's what this program will be called henceforth for a few weeks, if not months. I've been going live every Monday morning to talk about issues that concern you, that concern me, that concern most people. And I've been talking about business, entrepreneurship, spirituality. And this morning I'll be talking about life, basically. I'll be talking generally about life. And I titled this topic this morning, What is the Value of Your Life? Why did I come up with this topic? Usually what happens, I come up with topics like this based on observation, based on interactions with people, based on problems that I see in industries and all that. But this morning, it's basically based on my experience over this last weekend. On Saturday morning, I went out with my family, and almost every major bus stop in Lagos, there was one crisis or the other. I saw adults fighting each other. It also happened to me because one public bus driver from nowhere just came and brushed my car, and I came down and I looked at it. This car that I just painted in December, like, what's this? And I just let him go. And I told him, no, he was trying to apologize. At first, it was adamant, but I didn't even bother. I was just like, this is wrong. And I said, you don't come from nowhere. We're on a queue, we're trying to make a U-turn, and then you jump from nowhere, and then, excuse me, and then you brushed my car. But I got into my car and drove off. No exchange of words, no altercations, nothing. But from that point, almost everywhere I got to, I saw adults pulling shit. I saw adults dragging one another. At some point, I saw one car, I think after brushing each other like that, it blocked the whole road, just crossed the whole road. And I saw a lot of things happening. And I began to imagine what exactly is the value of life. Now, the second event, I don't remember the name of this lady now, but there was a young teenager that was shot and killed in the United States by a police officer. A highly condemnable act. Like we all know, everybody all over the world is condemning police brutality and all of that. But what led to the death of what led to the premature death of this young lady? So she was having altercations with her friends, and she brought out a knife. Somebody called police. She was about stabbing somebody. I think they said she had already stabbed one person, and then she was about stabbing the other person. Police came in, found or thought about no other way to disarm her. I believe that police should be trained to disarm people like that, but found no other way than to shoot her dead. Okay, now, highly condemnable. He shouldn't have shot her dead. But what was she doing with a knife? Now, I'm a parent of two children, and I see, I imagine the pain the woman is going through right now. I mean, on CNN, she was interviewed on CNN, and she said they took her from me. And the question that ran in my mind is, if she was home or she was at the club having fun with her friends, and everybody was jolly, she was happy, maybe she was preparing for an exam and all of that, would this same police officer have shot her? Even if all she was doing was expressing herself with her mouth, just saying, I don't like what you're doing, she's really angry, without attempting to stab anyone, would this same police officer have shot her dead? So all of this came to mind, and I decided that I'll talk about what is the value of your life. And for me, I'm going to share with you two things this morning: how you can place value on your life and how it's going to affect how you behave. Several times I've had to ask my wife that, can you imagine me pulling shit outside and struggling with somebody rolling up and down because he did something to me? And she's always like, it's unimaginable. Even me, I can't imagine myself in such situations. The Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall see God. I believe that's correct. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall see God. Now, there's a difference, like I explained, between peacemakers and peacekeepers. Peacemakers are people who cannot, who pursue peace rightly. So it's not about avoiding conflict. It's about defeating conflict, allowing conflict, yet defeating conflict. Peacemaking is a positive trait. Peacekeeping is a negative trait. Peacekeepers don't address issues. They avoid issues. They run away. They are always running away, and then the issues keep on compounding. Peacekeepers are people who don't address root causes of issues in families, in marriages. A peacekeeper is someone who shies away, who runs away from addressing the issues, and then until it becomes so big that it cannot be handled. But a peacemaker is someone who will address the issue, has enough self-control not to allow the issues degenerate, but will not cover or sweep the issues under the carpet. Okay, so now 2 things that I will talk about this morning is the value of your life is not based on your past. The value of your life is not based on your present. The value of your life is not based on your possessions. The value of your life is based on the future you can see. Because now, and that's what I say all the time, it will probably cost me like 3,000-4,000 naira to repaint where that guy scratched. Imagine that because of 3,000 or 4,000 naira, I punched this guy in the face. He brought out a knife and stabbed me. That's one way. I told you about the guy that scratched my car. So this is one thing that is programmed in my mind all the time. I don't think about where I'm coming from. I don't think about my present situation, but I think about the glorious future that I have. The picture of my future is always on my mind, and I don't imagine myself fighting a bus driver, for example. I don't imagine myself beating my wife, for example, because the picture of the future ahead of me, is interesting enough for me to want to witness it. You probably have heard about the actor who allegedly was caught violating a 14-year-old, and they said it has been ongoing for 7 years. Even if you have those condemnable tendencies, if the picture of your future is always in front of you, the future you imagine, the future of influence, the future of affluence, the future of, even for those of us that are believers, the future of making it to heaven in eternity and reigning with Christ. If that picture is always in front of you, there are certain things that you should or you will be avoiding. For example, if you look at it and you imagine if this Nollywood actor or this Yoruba actor had the picture of a future of featuring in a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, some of those little things. This is an actor that I know that there is in his area there, he can talk to any mature girl if he wants to have illicit sex. Why go for a minor? It's because you do not see the picture, or the picture of your future is not placed. So this is one way to understand the value of your life. So I said the value of your life is not in your past. It's not what you have achieved before. The value of your life is not what you have. What you are right now. The value of your life is not even your possessions. If you understand that the value of a man, the Bible, Jesus said, does not consist in the abundance of the things which he has. So it's not about your past achievement. It's not about your present achievement. It's not about what you own. It's about the picture of the future that's ahead of you. If you place this, you will understand that there are things that you can always overlook. Okay, so there was this case some time ago. I don't know if it's last year or 2 years ago. Just the same situation, somewhere around Anthony in Lagos. A bus driver, scratched this fine car, fantastic car. This man came down from the car barefooted and started chasing this driver. He couldn't catch up. Then he chased the conductor, tried to pull the conductor. The commercial bus was already moving, and the conductor just hit him. He fell down and died on the spot. He died on the spot, probably married with children. The picture of his future was not ahead of him. He could not see the picture of his future, or anger, momentary anger, destroyed or blurred out that vision, and he felt for something he could fix for less than 10,000 naira, he was going to chase a bus driver. No doubt about it. Bus drivers in Lagos are very, very annoying. But you cannot allow them to steal your glorious future. Your spouse can be annoying, but you can't drag yourself so low as to staining your record for the future. I mean, your government can be annoying, but you can't make... Okay, look at it. The Minister of Communications, the things he said, they said 15 years ago, those things are now haunting him. Nobody was really against him. Nobody even cared to know. I didn't even know his name because I have reservations about this government, so I don't really know them. Their results are abysmal at best. But suddenly, and he said things to record that were promoting terrorist agenda. Today, that has been, his name has been submitted to the United States Embassy. And once the United States say something, they're going to pass it around all the Western states and all of that. So now, whatever opportunities I heard, based on what I've read about him and what I've seen, such a brilliant man, such an interesting man, religious leader and all of that. However, the things he said, not picturing his future, that he will one day hold political office in Nigeria as a part of a federal government, those things are haunting him today. Look, the value of your life is in your future. The value of your life is in what is in your future. Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away by momentary reactions. Okay? So I've talked about the value of your life being in your future. That's number one. And the number two is the value of your life is in what God has actually placed you here for. Look, if you have it at the back of your mind that there is a purpose for which God brought you here, there is a purpose for which God allowed you even to be in Nigeria or to be on earth at this time. So many children didn't make it to this point. So many children died at stillbirth. But for one reason or the other, you were able to make it through. I mean, those of us that are alive in Nigeria, it's not because of medical expertise. It is just God that is keeping us alive. And we know all of that. So if God has kept us alive, it cannot be for nothing. The value of your life is in the discovery of this purpose. It's in the discovery and the pursuit of this purpose. Now, I'm not talking religion. I'm not asking you to become a pastor, but I'm saying that there is something that you're supposed to do. If if being on earth was meaningless, I'm sure that God wouldn't allow us to be here. Okay, if it was meaningless, the God I know is not the God that, it's not a wasteful God. It's not the God that wastes his time, wastes resources. So if you are here, then it has to be because there is something you need to contribute. It is because there is something you need to contribute. The value of your life is in this. So I talked about two things, is that the value of your life is in your future. If you pictured a glorious future ahead of you, it will help you to restrain yourself. It will help you to behave right, even in the face of distraction, in the face of provocation. Okay? And then the value of your life is in the divine agenda, the purpose for which you were here, you were sent here. If I will advise this morning, I would say, discover your purpose this morning. Discover why you are here. Find out exactly why you are here. And it's not supposed to be something very, it's not something that is, how do I call it? It's not something that it's not abstract. It's not in the air. And you don't necessarily have to hear a strong bass or baritone voice saying, my son, my daughter, this is why you are here. I said something last week, and I talked about, somebody asked in a fellowship I was, and we were talking about the Spirit of God and what is it called? The Spirit of God and is it conscience or something? Not conscience now. Hearing from God and also having intuition. That's the word, intuition. Okay? And that, is there any conflict between them? And I said there is no conflict within them. The Bible says that God made man in his own image, and then God breathed the breath of life into man. Look, that means that there is a measure of God in every human being alive. The breath that God carries, that he breathes into man, is what sent his nature into man. So the ability for foresight, the ability to sense issues, the ability to sense danger, is in every human being. You just start feeling something. The ability to sense victory coming, the ability to sense things is natural for everyone. There is even conscience, for the conscience of anybody to die and become an armed robber, assassin, and things like that, is because you deliberately killed it. Naturally, everybody has it. You don't have to even be born again yet. Naturally, everybody has it. You just can say if something is good. You can say if something is bad. That is the same way your purpose was breathed into you. As you began to grow, you began to have interests. You began to have, even without, we've seen people born into a family of medical doctors, and this person chose arts, just wants to draw. So it's not about, most times it's not about because you are in certain environments. What environment does is it helps you to either kill what is within you or to multiply it. So a lot of times you see somebody who was born in a family of engineers who just wants to be a motivational speaker. Look, these things are inborn. You cannot take it away. As much as we came to the world neutral, we came with talents. For me, the level of practice that I have put into my music craft is not comparable to my expertise. My practice, what I play in music, some people will have to practice times 10 or times 20. I've been very lazy all my life with practicing music, yet I play at the level I play because it comes natural for me. Music is natural for me. Appreciation is natural for me. We were traveling some 2 weeks ago, and we played a music track that was just musicals, no voicing. And I was singing the surfer of each of those notes for my wife that the saxophonist was playing. I was like, how did you learn this? I can't say I was not trained, but even before I started being trained, I began to understand tonic sofa. I play 5 musical instruments. I was only trained officially on one. The rest I was picking just by observing people in church. So this is natural for me. Speaking is natural for me. I've organized sessions that I spoke for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and I felt like I've not even started. It's recently that I started playing down a bit on all of that. I can take one subject matter and teach on it for 3 hours. It's pretty natural for me. I didn't go to any training, speaking training and all of that, but it's pretty natural for me. And church also helped me to groom this natural tendency. There is something that is natural for you. You cannot explain it. It is pretty natural for you. It is just natural for you. You can't explain it. I'll tell you something. Design is not natural for me. I had to learn it. That's the truth. Design is not natural for me. I'm an expert, but I am not an artist. I'm a designer. My designer in the office is a natural artist. It's pretty natural. He came to this world and found himself in love with drawing. I came to this world and hated drawing. But it is part of my profession today. Okay? So I know I don't lie to myself. I know that I had to learn this. Now, there is something for you. There is something in you. There is something that you came with. It is a clue as to what your contributions to this world are. It is a clue as to what your contribution to this world could be. So I want to encourage you this morning, as I begin to round up. I don't know, how many minutes have I spent now? It's my phone. Okay, so as I begin to round up, I've done like 23 minutes. As I begin to round up this morning, do not forget, the value of your life is more than your anger. The value of your life is more than your provocation. The value of your life is more than those distractions coming your way. The value of your life is not what you wear. It's not what you are. It's not what you possess. The value of a man's life is not in the abundance of the things he has. The value of your life is in your future. The value of your life is in your purpose, your divine purpose. So this morning I want to encourage you. Whatever is distracting you, just place value on it. I think let's start from that. Place value on it. They scratched your car. Place value on the incident. And imagine what could happen. Imagine the worst that could happen. How much are you going to spend? Now imagine the worst that could happen if you lost your life. Your children will be traumatized for a long time. Your spouse will be traumatized for a long time. Just imagine that because your wife did something, then you slapped her, you beat her. A neighbor caught it on video. In a few years, you want to become the governor of your state, and then they start circulating your video when you were beating your wife. Just imagine that. Just imagine. Imagine what's happening in your future for one moment of indiscretion. Imagine what you will have lost. You probably have spent 2 billion on the campaign, and then the video will surface. This one moment of indiscretion will destroy your life's ambition. Just one moment of indiscretion. So place a value on everything. Place a value on all these things and see if it is equal to the value of your life. So I asked, let me just round off by saying this story. I was telling one of my staff about the damage to my car. And it was like, so what did you say? My wife was there. Now, gentleman, he would not say anything. I said to him, just imagine that you are the one driving your car alone. Something pulled out from the car and your car somersaulted and was written off. Who are you going to fight? You are going to fight. Somebody just scratched the car, you started fighting. Just imagine, nothing, no. You were just going, something pulled out from the wheels, the car somersaulted, the car was completely written off. You came out alive. Who exactly are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight? So just look at it. So the value of your life, evaluate it with the value. Just imagine that he even gave you just one punch and you lost one eye. Imagine the value of your eye to the value of what happened to your car. You fight your neighbors. There are people who fight their neighbors, who think that that by becoming the champion of today means everything to them. Imagine that your child and this man's child they had to meet somewhere else outside the country, and that man's child had something your own child needs. Imagine, and that could be everything your son or your daughter has ever worked for. The help in the hand of your enemy, because you've made several enemies. Some of us have made several enemies. You don't even know who is on your case anymore, because you've made several enemies. I can talk. Nobody can cheat me. I will not agree. That is how people have lost their future. Okay? That's all I have for you this morning. I have a meeting in the office by 10 a.m. Babs, do we have any question? Do we have any? Okay. No question. Thank you so much for watching this morning. I really appreciate you. Have yourselves a most profitable week. My name is Ayodije Bado, and I'm the founder of Print Doctor Africa, the first print-on-demand book publishing platform in sub-Saharan Africa. And today, we've done almost 350 unique titles. Whose book is next? Yours. I'll see you again. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.